All right, so with the use case here, I want to collect events from 100 remote endpoints. I want to collect the three channels, so application, system, and security, from 100 remote machines. Now, to do something like this in WinCollect 7, it was a daunting task. Like, you couldn't go in and use the standalone config console and add a remote machine and then go in and configure it to, do what we want to do here. It was pages upon pages, and it was just, not an easy task. With WinCollect 10 and using the log source wizard, we can go step through the wizard and do that. So let's do that. So right now we're at the source wizard page. We're going to go and collect a remote, and we're going to select the bulk. And the first thing we're going to be asked is, what do we want to call this? So let's call this one like HR workstations. Okay, and we're going to click next. Now, something to be, with this is that you want to, when you create these bulk groups, you want to keep similar devices together. You don't want to have, a bunch of workstations and servers and stuff like that where you may need to, change the configurations for. It's good to keep everything, as the same. So very similar devices. So let's go on to the next. And here we see the plugin options, all the, everything that we support with WinCollect 10. In this example, I'm just going to go through and use the Windows event. Here we can specify the channels, or we can put in our own custom XPath. I just want to collect the application, system, and security events, so I just click the toggles there, and we're going to go next to the credentials. Now, of course, we need to have credentials set. We need to have something that this agent can use to remotely connect to the event channels on those remote machines. So we need to create new credentials. I'm just going to call this Josh admin, and it's a domain account, and my username, and a password. So once we have everything configured here, we're going to go on to the bulk devices section. Now this is where we can go in and start adding our devices. Now we have a couple options. We can do a file upload, or we can go in and manually add, and you can use either or. So if I go in here and upload a file and say, oh, that file didn't contain everything I needed, I can then go over here and manually type in the IP address or the host name and click add, and it will add it over to this new devices section on the right. Now we do supply like a bulk template that you can use, and if we flip over here, I have that loaded up, so you can use a mix of IPs, host names, etc. It's just line separated file. Now here I have a bunch of machines in the lab, and there's 100 here listed, and I'm just going to import this file here. So we could just click on this drag and drop. I'm just going to open up the UI section here and select this bulk 12 100. And as soon as I click open, all those devices are shown here on the right hand side. Now, something we also include with WinCollect 10 is that you can test the connection to that remote device. So this would be good to make sure that you got those credentials set, the permissions, etc. from this machine can connect to those remote machines. If you had like 100 or so devices added here, and if you selected that test option, it will take some time because it's going to go out and make a connection attempt using the credentials. So it'll have to go step through every one of those machines, in order to go on to the next step. So in this case, I'm pretty confident I typed my password right here. I'm not going to go in and do a test. And if there was something that showed up, I could, use the log viewer here later to find out, oh, I don't have my permission set, or I can't connect because of credentials. So, but let's just go on to the next section here, which is setting up our destination. Now, with the installation of WinCollect 10, there is a default destination set. The name of it is QRadar, and with my installation, when I installed it, I used the quick option, and I just had to specify, what 3 channels I wanted this, this local agent to start collecting. And the other option was to specify a destination. And here I put an IP address in of a curator machine that I have here in my lab. So I'm just going to select that. Now, if I did want to add another, appliance from my curator deployment, I could click on this button and use the wizard to create a new destination. So let's just create this console that I have here set already. And let's just go to the summary page. So the summary page basically just shows us, what's waiting to be applied to the agent. Now the difference here between using the wizard and using the built-in console UI and making changes is that the wizard, you don't have to apply those changes. I'll step more into that here in a bit and show like the pending changes, which I talked about there before with this little notification icon up here. When you're using the wizard, you don't have to apply the changes. As soon as you click apply, the agent picks up those changes and starts processing the new instructions. So let's click apply here. We'll see a little wheel spinning, and then we get a confirmation, a success message here stating that, the agent's picked it up, all changes have been applied, and the agent's now running. So that's, that's pretty easy. That's 100 machines I've, gone through using the wizard to add to this agent. It's pretty straightforward. And if we go back here now to the dashboard, we can already see here in the, on the dashboard that I have that group created called HR Workstations. And the agent's already started making some connection attempts to some of these machines that I put here in the list. Now, I want to next go into looking at the agent config file. So that's another huge enhancement, that we've made to WinCollect 10. So we'll go and take a look at the agent config file next.